Moving into the city was tough. Finding an affordable apartment felt impossible. Then I met Mr. Akena. He seemed kind, his smile warm. He offered a deal on a charming, slightly run-down place. I jumped at it. Little did I know his daughter Nkiru would make life even more complicated. She was stunning. Big eyes, a smile that could melt glaciers. She was always around, bringing over her dad's famous pepper soup, chatting for hours. It was strange, but I couldn't deny I enjoyed her company. Nkiru started spending even more time with me. We'd watch movies, talk about life. It felt easy, natural. I started looking forward to her visits. Maybe this was a good thing, I thought. Maybe finding a decent apartment in this crazy city came with an unexpected perk. One rainy Tuesday evening, Nkiru came over. She seemed different, nervous. We were watching a movie, a silly rom-com. During a particularly cheesy scene, she turned to me, her eyes shimmering. "I think I'm in love with you," she blurted out. My jaw dropped. "What? Me?" Part of me was elated. This beautiful, vibrant woman was confessing her love. The other part, the cynical part that had been burned before, screamed, "Red flag!" It was all too sudden, too intense. We started dating. It was a whirlwind. Nkiru was intoxicating, but the doubts lingered. She always insisted on meeting away from her father's watchful eyes. She never stayed over. There were too many whispered phone calls, too many times she'd clam up when her dad was around. One evening she brought over a plate of puff puff, her face pale. "My dad found out about us," she whispered, her hand trembling. "He's furious. He says you're using me." I was confused. Using her? For what? I genuinely cared about Nkiru, but her fear was palpable. I told her we'd figure it out, that her dad would come around. Deep down, a knot of unease tightened in my stomach. The next morning, Mr. Akena banged on my door, his face a mask of rage. "You think you can steal from me?" he roared. He accused me of not paying rent for months, using his daughter to avoid eviction. He threatened to call the police. Neighbors gathered, whispering. Nkiru stood behind him, her face a mask of cold indifference. I was blindsided. Then it hit me. The missing rent notices, Nkiru's sudden affection, her father's anger, it was all a setup. They had played me. Humiliated and heartbroken, I packed my bags. I didn't try to explain. What was the point? As I left, I saw a flicker of something in Nkiru's eyes. Regret? Guilt? I'll never know. I walked away, carrying a broken heart and a valuable lesson. Sometimes love is just a well-played con.